So I kind of really missed the boat on this one, and that's mostly my fault because I didn't actually buy a copy of the Xenoblade 2 art book because saving money for the whole, Xenogears and Xenosaga thing. But there's something kind of important about that beyond all the cool art and seeing what some characters look like concept-wise, because while a lot of that stuff is concept art, so it's not anything that we can say is, oh, this is guaranteed to actually be a thing in the game, so say they revealed something weird about Morag's backstory or whatever in the concept art, that might not be canon because it's just concept art. But there's one piece of information in this art book that is very, very important, and that is, we are actually given a direct translation of the Alrest script. Now, I talked about this before, especially in the video about Hugo's map from Torna, but that was just me guessing things to the best of my ability, and it turns out people had already been starting to decipher it, and according to what I was able to find on the internet, people had already had 80 to 85% of the alphabet translated by the time that the art book came out and confirmed everything else. So what we got here is just the 26 letters of the Latin alphabet and the numbers 0 through 9. So that's a very big deal because we can now translate anything in that text in the game. So the first thing you might want to do is, say, look at Hugo's map like I talked about in another video. And here you'll run into the first big deal about this. It makes a lot of sense, but the translations of all these things you'll find in the game are not going to be in English. They're going to be in Romaji. So these are just the Japanese words for a bunch of things written out in the Latin alphabet in a fantasy script. So the big thing is all the Titan names. If you look at those will match up directly to the Japanese names of those Titans as can be found in any official material. So there we already go. We know this works for something. There's also that one weird 2-word text that pops up like 4 times on the map. The first word translates to what, but I can't find there's anything about the second word, so be my guest on that one. But it's also kind of cool because now that we have this, we can look at a bunch of other random stuff. For instance, if you take a look at Nia's wanted poster from Chapter 2, you'll see a word up top where the word wanted would usually be on an English poster, and if you do the letter translation, you get Simeitehai, which, according to Google Translate, is most likely referring to the word Shimetehai, which also, according to Google Translate, I pronounced horribly wrong and means fugitive warrant. So it's basically a wanted poster. There are other words down there, but from what I can tell, spaces aren't a thing in this alphabet, which is kind of weird. I don't know if that's a thing that Japanese usually does too, because I know nothing, but translating things longer than one word is very difficult because not only do you have to, or when you don't know Japanese, it's hard, because not only do you have to swap all the letters, but try to figure out which Japanese words they are, and also try to find the spaces in there so it turns into actual words and not complete nonsense. So I'm going to leave that to people who actually know what they're doing to figure out for the most part, but I did want to check out one more thing, and that was to see if there was a unique engraving on the tombstone for Rex's parents in Funset Village. Unfortunately, all of the stones in that graveyard use the exact same texture for the front, so they do have the same words on them, but it's worth noting that if I took the first word, basically, and translated that, and I got Hahanaru, which means mother, so the inscription says something about mother. I don't know if it says father in there too, but both of Rex's parents were buried in Fonset, so that was definitely a, oh, we need to write something legitimate, so we'll do a thing that you'd actually see on a gravestone, but we won't tailor it specifically to Rex's one, because, I don't know, I guess they had a lot more important things to do than make sure that was a thing. So, there you go, interesting tidbit. It's cool. There's a lot more stuff you can translate. I saw someone found out that the art book itself, if you close it, all the pages have markings on them, so when you combine it, it's a design, and apparently that design is Mithra's sword, which is obvious, but it also is the title of Chapter 10 in Japanese written in the Alrest script, which I think is really cool, because that's a good way to literally bookend the entire game with this art book that came out even after Torna. But that's all I got. Regular video Sunday. Yeah, until next time, this is Luxin signing off, bye.